Episode 1 is all Johnny, and Daniel. Episode 2 is mostly Daniel.
Mostly Daniel.
You know?
Daniel has this very privileged life.
Right.
That he's made for himself, and obviously it's all due to his discipline.
Right.
Probably a lot of the values that were instilled with him. You know, he's a hard worker. Mm-hmm. He's all self-made, and everything is great. And then and you think this guy is like a successful dude, and then he sees the Cobra Kai sign in the mini mall, and he is just horrified.
Right.
He is absolutely paralyzed with fear. His like the little kid just comes right back.
Yeah.
Because beyond Johnny. What happened in the third movie, which is horrible, it's enough to justify him being completely horrified.
Yeah, he just started peeing his pants out of fear because of repressed memories. You understand why.
Yeah, it's completely repressed. He's
they try to destroy him in the third movie.
They try to completely destroy him.
And it's mostly adults.
It's adults.
Yeah, it's not just kids bullies.
He's grown up. He's out of high school.
It's the stupidest story.
It doesn't make any sense because naturally if somebody's coming and ruining and coming and battering you, they usually get arrested, and it didn't make any sense that these guys weren't getting arrested. I have no clue why they weren't arrested. So then we get to Johnny having his first, I guess, lesson with Miguel. That's when the inhaler happens, the peanut allergies.
Oh, it's freaking hilarious.
You don't want to be... He says a lot of stuff that's you don't usually say now. It's the non-PC stuff. Don't be a pussy. You want to have balls.
Right.
You know, like, it's kind of, like he said, it was genderizing.
Right.
Which is definitely not PC anymore.
And it says,
what the hell is
what's genderizing?
Oh, my guidance counselor.
So you're not allowed to listen to your guidance counselor anymore.
Yeah, like I said, the Trump supporters, it's very funny to make fun of it. And then this health inspector comes in, and you realize that what an uphill... This actually hit on me as a small business owner. The whole uphill battle of trying to run your own business nowadays. The health inspector comes in and is like, well, you need this to get this just to get this. And you're just like, wait, what? I have to do all this? That's just so typical.
And what it takes to start a business is almost overwhelming and unrealistic for almost any business.
Yeah.
You need all that capital up front. And so many businesses fail that because they put all this capital to open a business.
I know, all this stuff.
And you can never hope to get out of that hole.
No, and it makes you root for him even more because you realize he's got this uphill battle.
Right.
You know, he's got one student. Meanwhile, Daniel's at the country club.
Yeah.
Then they come back from their country club outing. We meet, actually we see Aisha. I don't know if we had seen Aisha in the school before that, but we learned that Aisha and his daughter are childhood friends. But obviously Aisha, the daughter is leaning more towards these mean girl type girls.
Yeah, she's hanging out with the cool crowd.
Kids, yeah, which are usually the douchebags.
And all the boys and all the girls are at the pool when they come home.
They're at the house, and I don't know whose idea was it for him to have all them wearing his bathing suits, but it was just funny. It just made for a funny scene.
Oh, can we back up for 2 seconds? And we don't deal with it in the first season a lot, but I think it's very funny. And they don't deal with it. They just kind of put it out there. He's got this high school daughter, but his younger son is kind of like a little bit of a chubby kid that just plays video games all day. You know, he's...
Yeah, they don't give him any backstory because he doesn't do anything. He's just kind of a comic relief
and it's the fact
he's
that...
He's so lazy, they just like, we're not
the
going to
Karate Kid's son is just like, whatever. I don't want to play.
I thought it was funny. He kicks all the guys out, kicks all these guys. They're all wearing his bathing suits. It's actually really funny, but, you know, he talks to his wife at that point, and again, I feel like the little whiny Daniel comes out again, because he is whiny, and it started to come back out again, this little whiny Daniel.
When he freaks out,
he becomes this whiny kid, and I'm like, come on, guy. And
it's funny.
Out. And his wife's like, what?
It's funnier now.
It's funnier now.
You know, it gets annoying by the third movie.
Yeah.
In the old days, but it's funny now because that's not who he is now. He's grown up, but he goes there. It's hilarious. But
he talks at that point. He does talk about being pushed down the hill. He's like, I was pushed down a hill to his wife.
I thought it was a cliff.
Yeah, this whole thing. We see some flashbacks of him teaching his daughter some of the stuff that Mr. Miyagi taught him.
Yeah.
When she was younger. He's reminiscing, and now she's growing up. This is a hard thing to deal with. He goes and he looks at some pictures and some articles, you know, wishing we kind of have a touching moment where he wishes he was around now to give him some advice on being a parent. Then we get to the cafeteria scene, and we meet some very likable characters. We meet Dimitri and Eli, who later becomes Hawk. Like I said, these are very likable. They're dorks.
Right now they are.
Yeah, they are now. You're on their side. You have the cafeteria. We have the mean girls. They're being mean girls, making comments, snide comments about the other people. You know, Aisha's overweight, or whatever. They're making comments about Eli. Samantha sees all this happening and kind of just looks the other way, but she feels bad because the mean girls are making fun of her friend Aisha. We get back to the dojo. I guess Johnny's in the dojo and he gets a call, and we meet Robbie for the first time, who's Johnny's son. So we didn't know Johnny had a son.
Right.
Although it was mentioned in passing when Sid came in, and he did say you're not a good father. So
right.
But we never met Robbie, and Robbie's obviously troubled.
They found with Molly. Who's Molly?
Who's Molly? Is that a girl? No, the Molly. So he's obviously getting himself into trouble. Troubled child. Although, once again, he's very likable. Again, likable character. Obviously has more to him. Oh, this is just going to be a bad kid. They could have set this kid up to just be a bad kid.
Right.
You know, to just constantly be a whiny little bratty kid.
Right,
But
right,
they
right,
didn't.
right.
They didn't. He actually went through a journey.
Every single one of them is not what you expect. And in 4 hours later from now, they are completely not what they are now.
No.
They all go through a process because of interacting, which makes this one of the more real shows of all time. And so, and I'm going a little beyond. I think it's one of those I was expecting so bad. I'm so overwhelmingly excitedly happy that this is so amazing.
It to be so bad. You're
but it's
what?
like, oh, they did not go easy.
No.
They did not take the easy, cheap route on any character.
They could have, but they didn't.
Not at all.
Each character three-dimensional.
No.
Then it goes back to Johnny teaching. It says, picture your enemy before punches. And he pictures Kyler. Obviously, Kyler's his enemy. That gives him some fury. He's picturing his face, and then you see his face smiling at dinner at the LaRussos.
Right. There's kind of a funny, like, not a racial... Well, it's a racial moment, not a racist moment.
No.
But classic, Danny asks the Asian boyfriend, you know, where are your parents from? And he says, Irvine, another neighborhood in L.A.
Yeah.
You know, he's like second or third generation. Yeah. It's, you know, it's a 2018, like, oh, yeah, it's not the 80s anymore. That in the 80s, you're like, oh, Korea, Japan, Okinawa, China, you know, I'm L.A.
Yeah.
We've been local for a few generations now.
Several generations.
So Kyler lets Danny know after some... Danny pulls it out of Kyler. He has an eye, and he's got some.
Mark.
He has a black eye. Kyler has a black eye, and he's got some bruising on his fist, right? And Danny tries to almost be fatherly. He says, "What happened there?"
In a fight,
and he finds out that basically it was Johnny that they got in a fight with. So he goes over to the new dojo to say, this is not cool.
Well, he's also told the twisted story. Oh, we were in there trying to buy protein bars, which we know he was out there actually trying to buy beer.
Right.
And they were actually beating up Miguel.
Right.
He decides to not tell him that part of the story.
Right. Well, of course. Yeah.
Of course.
No good bully tells his side of the story.
No,
the victim side.
Yeah, he makes himself out to be the victim. So Daniel, of course, knowing Johnny's history...
buys into it so easily.
So easily goes into the dojo with this in mind. Confronts Johnny about it.
Long story short, he confronts him. He confronts him. There's a wonderful moment with Danny in the car, and he turns on his lights, shining on Johnny, and there's a look to Danny, and a look to Johnny, and then it's the end of the episode, and Johnny just has this smile turn up a little bit, and it's the character seeing hope for the first time, maybe since Danny kicked his ass.
Yeah.
That I have a chance here to turn my life around.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like the way these two episodes have played, I almost feel like there's a parallel to William, the actor.
Right.
The actor saying, I'm having fun. You know, there's that I saw in that smile of the character and the actor saying, you know what, 34 years later, I am finally having fun.
Yeah.
And it's so genuine. It's not a bully smile. It's not I'm going to get you smile. It's just like, I'm just having a good time. It's not even bring it, you know. It's not a challenge. It's not anything. It's just I'm in a good place.
Yeah. He's not too happy that Johnny is teaching kids.
No.
Cobra Kai.
Because again, that third movie, it's much more than the stuff in the first. Like if the first movie ended and then you had this, it almost doesn't work in that level.
No.
Because Danny was the winner.
Yeah.
There was nothing to go back on. You had to go to the third movie, unfortunately, because it sucks. But the story of Cobra Kai as like a national brand coming down on Daniel and Miyagi.
Yeah, and not just that, but even the first movie, it's
horrible. Yeah,
it's obviously not a good thing, especially with Kreese. But I think the problem mostly being Kreese. Mm-hmm. Being the bad.
100%.
It's not. I think he keeps saying no such thing as bad student. He said in the first one.
Right.
I think Miyagi said that in the second one, maybe even
only
the third one.
Teachers.
Only bad teachers.
And at some point, Daniel says it.
Yeah,
I don't think we're there yet in the series, but at some point, Daniel repeats that.
Yeah.
And Johnny is not a bad teacher yet.
No.
He's still the victim of being a bad student.
Yeah.
But he's not ignorant in karate. He knows some wisdom. It's twisted. And in his life in the last 34 years.
Right.
And even back then, he was not devastated by losing itself.
Right.
The fact that Kreese, his sensei, his teacher, almost killed him for losing.
Yeah.
Fired him, kicked him out of the dojo.
Yeah.
Fired him as a student because he lost.
Right.
Right? Being kicked in the head is just being kicked in the head. But all the stuff that went through that, and in the 34 years of becoming the loser as a result of that, and losing the girl and all that stuff. And again, every single one of these characters, even by the end of the second episode, which is almost like one long mini movie, it's these two episodes. You almost have to watch these two episodes back to back, even if you're not going to binge the whole thing.
Yeah.
Because one without the other, they're the mirror of each other for the two characters, and they really set up the rest of it. And it just, but then you're going to want to go forward because it's that good.
You're going to want to watch it, and if you don't, I suggest you keep with it, and do the YouTube Red trial, and watch it. I mean, you could watch the whole thing in a night. Like, they're fairly short. Later on, what happens is pretty amazing. And as far as Johnny and the mistakes that he makes as a teacher actually do come back to bite him in the ass in some different ways without getting too far into what happens in the last episode.
But for that, you just have to watch the next episode.
Yeah. So you'll have to watch it. All right. We're going to wrap this up. And leave a comment below. Let me know what you think. I think if you are watching my other vlogs, if you've watched my other X-Files stuff, I think you need to go watch these two episodes right now. Come back and let me know what you thought.
Banzai!
Yes, let me know what you thought. Watch the first two
Banzai!
episodes. Watch the first two episodes and come back and let me know what you thought. Follow me on Twitter, tweet me, let me know. I think this show is amazing.
I can't wait for season 2.
I haven't been excited about a show like this for a while.
Any show.
There are shows that I find that I get so excited about, like Stranger Things. I'm excited about. I'm some of these shows though. You never know how long they're going to last. I think being on the streaming platform, this is going to go, hopefully, if it does just as well in the second season, it's already been picked up. Mm-hmm. Hopefully the story continues to keep moving forward.
Right.
And
I will say this, though. This 5 hours is better than even the original movie.
I think so, too.
The writing.
I think so, too.
Because the original movie was okay.
No, the original movie was
we loved
great.
It. We loved it.
Great.
But from a traditional writing, from a critical standpoint, Pat Morita saved their ass, I think.
Right.
You know what I mean? And the writing for Pat Morita.
Yeah.
It's not that funny.
Well,
and Daniel's good.
Actor.
Daniel's
great
good.
Actor. I remember watching that.
But the heart comes from Miyagi.
He's just like I don't think people give, because you have like the whole teen heartthrob thing.
Right.
And I remember him being kind of like a poor man's Michael J. Fox at the time, because honestly, I mean,
he turned down Back to the Future.
We learned
we
that.
Didn't know that. We heard that in another video about this show.
So I had a couple. He would be next to Michael J. Fox on these like teenage magazines that you used to get from the store. So when you had the Michael J. Foxes, and then you had the Rob Lowe and Tom Cruise and Ralph Macchio. Actually, all the Outsider guys all kind of became famous at the same time. That were this teenage. You
never saw Crossroads, right?
And no, I never watched that one.
You gotta watch Crossroads. If you haven't seen Crossroads, go watch Crossroads. It's same actor, right?
Well, Ralph Macchio.
Ralph Macchio as a classical guitarist who wants to play blues and rock and roll.
Yeah, I remember that coming out at the time and it being like heavily promoted through these Teen Beat and bop magazines.
It was kind of a flop, I think. I thought it was great.
It flopped. It totally flopped. I remember.
It's an imperfect film, but it's fun.
There were some Michael J. Fox movies that they flopped more.
Oh, yeah.
He had some real bad stinkers. But
it's a fun watch.
Yeah.
And I think it really is an underrated movie in a lot of ways.
But you don't realize, until I got a little older and I watched Karate Kid. Maybe I watch it every few years. It'll come on TV and I'm like, wow, oh my God, he's a really good young actor. I couldn't believe how good his acting was in the first movie.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, he was a good actor. Thanks for watching. I'm going to post a few more. I'm going to post a review of every single episode, and I'm going to do one at a time because I think doing two at once is too much.
There's so much to talk about.
There's a lot to talk about.
There's eggs. There's just so much
Easter
to talk
eggs.
about.
And we've definitely missed a few Easter eggs. I'm pretty sure.
Oh,
but
yeah.
We'll take a look at. We're going to take a look at the whole series. Go watch the first two and come back here and let me know what you think. And then in the next couple of days, I'm going to post up our next review, which is of episode 3.
No mercy.
No mercy. Cobra Kai. All right. Until next time, we'll see you guys later. Thanks for watching.
Hurt.